We have had a beautiful October. It's been everything I could have wished for, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and the leaves are very quickly starting to fall. And this was the first year that I actually heard leaves falling. I had the doors and the windows open because the weather has been so beautiful, and I could hear this noise, and I'm like, it is the leaves falling. And at first, it was very beautiful because the trees were still very full, but now as they are getting very empty, there's a little bit more of a sadness to hearing the leaves fall, but there's still a lot of beauty with all of the beautiful leaves laying on the ground. Here we are, the last week of October, and I'm looking at the calendar and I'm thinking about how this month has gone. And I will say, I don't feel like it flew by. I really, that was the goal, was to be in the moment, enjoy all of those magical things that happen in autumn and October, and I would say that happened. But there was also a lot of things that kind of popped up the past week and a half that I needed to, that was my focus and trying to balance everything in life. The way that I was able to do that was by putting the camera down, because trying to fit in the editing and doing all of that, I feel like I get a little bit overwhelmed and then I get behind with everything, and I'm just everything has gotten back into place, so I'm picking the camera up again just to share that with all of you. And that's one of the reasons why I don't commit to vlogging months anymore, but I do want to try and have a more consistent schedule. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to do right now, is to have a more at least 2 to 3 videos a week that are certain days, so that way I need to plan a little bit better and then go from there to have a little bit of extra stuff, for certain times of the year. So that is my goal. I was hoping to do that in October, but all of those little unexpected things came up, so I do apologize about that. But it's that time of the year where it's kind of bittersweet. The leaves are falling, I know it's gonna happen, but there's still a lot of trees that are very vibrant and beautiful, and there's still some trees that are transitioning, but it is the last weekend of October, so it is spooky season. All of the haunted houses and Halloween parties and everything are going on this weekend, since Halloween is on a Thursday, but it has been a really, really nice month. And November, I need to do things to prepare for the holiday season, but I also know that I don't really do too much until at least the 15th of November, and then kind of go from there. And I think that's my strategy every year. So what I want to do right now is a brain dump, because I have a lot of things that are kind of running around in my mind, and I'm just going over them, and I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And when that happens, I need to do a brain dump, and then when I do a brain dump, I feel like I have a strategy, and I just get it out on paper, so that way I feel like I make a little bit more room up here for all of the day-to-day tasks that need to get done, and I'm able to stay on top of everything. So it's that time again where I just need a good old brain dump. I have a video I'll link down below that explains a little bit more of the process, how a brain dump is very magical for me. It really helps me. And it's one of those things where there's not really any kind of technology that will do what I need to do. And that's when I need just pen and paper, write all of those little things out. And I think for myself too, I retain it better whenever I actually write it out, and then I kind of go over. So that way I can kind of come up with a strategy and a game plan. So it's packing up all of the fall and Halloween decor, organizing it properly. I need to do that for clothes too, spring and summer. I need to get the winter stuff out. I do know that I need to look for a lightweight jacket before everything gets picked over, and then the whole starting the decluttering and cleaning before I start decorating and really, getting all of those things ready for Christmas. And I also need to come up with a meal plan strategy. Like I said, it's more about just kind of getting all of these little things out, so I can kind of come up with a game plan of getting everything packed up from fall, Halloween and all of that. And then clothes have definitely been something I'm trying to figure out, just, with the changing of the weather so drastically, and then I run very warm, and then all the other things that I'm going through, I'm just trying to get everything organized, so when I go to pull it out in the spring and summer, everything is together. And I really do need to figure out my pants, and then just starting the whole decluttering process. I do it every year for Christmas, and you know, the soaps and the candles and the scents, and then baking. I do need to find, like I said, a lightweight jacket, get out the winter stuff, and then coming up with a better you know, meal plan strategy, freezer meals and all that. So I am going to share you know, I'm trying a new recipe today that I hope will work out in the future, so I'll share that with all of you. So that is my starting point, and at least I have like a little bit of a game plan. So what I'm going to do now is just get all the other stuff that I've been working on, laundry, sweeping the floors and all of that, and then when I get more organized and I don't feel so overwhelmed, then I find it's easier to vlog. So that's a little bit of the behind the scenes. So I was just organizing like my food inventory and, you know, a couple of recipes and all of that, getting them all kind of situated. And then I kept this on the shelf, my little Christmas notebook planner. I got it at Dollarama. It was $4.50. I used it the past couple of Christmases, and I remembered last year I had like a starting point. So I went back and like look at 2023 starting point, fall cleanup, you know, the totes, getting everything organized, sort the candles, hand soap, you know, decluttering and organizing and doing a bunch of stuff, you know, winter, get out the boots, the hats, the mitts, the coats, and all of that. So it's definitely something that I do every year. And then for 2024, you know, order hand soap, Bath and Body Works, the winter candle. I know I don't have any of that. Christmas candles, I don't really know. I don't feel like I burn too much at candles anymore, but there's certain scents that I do like, and I do like to have some festive hand soaps because I do like the Bath and Body Works when they go on sale. So I just kind of order them online and then just organize the trees better, like the cords and all of that. And then last year, whenever I packed up Christmas, I wrote everything down in detail, where everything is, and then what I have in the garage. So I think that'll be a little bit easier whenever I start to pull everything out. So I try and be organized. I'm not always perfect, but I do find like as I do it every year, my strategy is getting better and better. I knew that my little Christmas notebook planner was there with like my recipe books and my freezer inventory, and I just wanted to take a little peek at it. I'm really glad that I did, because I knew that I had a starting point last year preparing for the holidays. Like I knew it was like decluttering and going through a bunch of stuff. I didn't realize it was packing up the fall and the Halloween decor and organizing it really good. And you know, when they say your future self will thank you, that was one of the things this year whenever I went to decorate for fall. I really enjoyed the process because I had everything kind of organized. And I'm going to do the same thing this year. So I know that I have a box and I'm going to write and say, you know, you didn't use this in 2024, you know, reevaluate it in 2025. So I know when I go to open up that box to be like what's your emotions? Like if you open it up and you're like, this is just stuff, then I know next fall that I'll be okay to get rid of, see what my daughter wants. Whatever she doesn't want, then I can, you know, share it with whoever else wants it or donate it. So that's kind of the strategy. And I think seeing that I have everything like really well organized with my Christmas, I am so thankful for that, because I do it slow and gradual now, because I like doing just a little bit each day. Before I would like do everything in one day and it would be like such a mess and it would be overwhelming, and I just want to like be in the moment and enjoy everything. And that was one of the things I talked about last Christmas, was how like one day was so magical, a little bit of reflection on Christmas, and it was really about being in the moment and not get like, you know, not wishing it away and doing all of that. And I feel that was really like the whole thing with October too, that I wanted to be in the moment. And that's one of the things too that's a little bit different about me, is that I am no longer in my 40s. I'm officially 50 years old. So my birthday was very lovely. I felt very loved and special, so I was very thankful for that. When I turned 40, it wasn't the happiest day of my life, but I'll talk a little bit more about my journey in another video and all of that, with trying to do a lifestyle change and all of that. But yeah, so far 50 and fabulous, is that what they say? I still can't believe it. But anyways, I don't want to talk about too much about that right now. But the one thing I do want to do is get dinner started, because many years ago when my kids were little, I would always do that in like the lull of the afternoon. If it was nap time or it was a quiet time, like I'd always kind of start making dinner a little bit early, and then I just got away from it. And now I feel like that certain, like those 2 hours, like from 4 to 6, I just find like they're so busy and there's so much going on, and then sometimes I'm not like cleaning up as I go, or like I'm rushing and everything like that. And then I want to get back into trying to prep a little bit earlier, get back into, you know, food prepping and, you know, having a little bit more of a strategy instead of just like, oh, what am I going to have for dinner today? So I feel like now that we're getting into a more groove with the more consistent cooler weather, I feel like it's time to get back into, you know, what can I do ahead of time that will help me. But I also don't want to do things too far ahead because life happens, and sometimes, you know, when you're doing all your stuff on Sunday, you think like Monday to Thursday is going to look like that, but then life happens. So, you know, taking it like 2-3 days at a time I think is the best thing for me. And I know that today I am going to make soup, but this morning, like, it was supposed to be really cool today. The sun is out, it looks really beautiful, so I'm not really feeling in the mood for soup now, but that is what I am gonna make, and I am trying out a new recipe. I wanted to share the process with all of you. Every year from Costco, if I'm able to, I always get the butternut squash ravioli because it's really good. So the first package, I made like Alfredo, mushrooms, chicken, and all of that. And we really, really liked it. So I've been saving this one because I wanted to make a soup. And I found this recipe for creamy ravioli soup, and I just thought it sounded so good. I just need a carrot and an onion. Then it called for either a pound of ground turkey or it says Italian sausage, so I will link it down below. And then like your basil, oregano, crushed tomatoes, and then the chicken broth. So I thought I could go ahead and make the base of the soup, and then like later you add in like the fresh ravioli. I'm going to use the squash ravioli, and then the spinach and the half and half. So I thought this would be the perfect thing that I could go ahead and make it. And then, you know, the carrots and the onions, everything can cook. It can kind of get that flavor kind of established. And then right before dinner, I can do the ravioli and the spinach and then add in the cream. So that way it's still kind of nice and fresh. So I'm going to give this a try. And then I thought like moving forward, like I could do, you know, ground turkey. Maybe I could even do it with ground beef or make like a meatless. But I just thought it was really kind of a nice, simple recipe that I could kind of change up, you know, whatever ravioli I have, or I could even put in just like pasta. But I like the fact that it has spinach, and then also like the cream soup. That's what my husband really likes too. So I am going to give this a try, and I'm also going to share with you my new Dutch oven. I love the enamel covered Dutch oven. I have like an oval one too that's a little bit bigger, and this one here is 4 quarts. I do quite a bit in here, but I find sometimes it's a little bit too small, but the hamburger helper fits in here perfect. But when I go to make like spaghetti sauce, or sometimes the roast might be a little bit bigger, or a chicken, I just find it's a little bit too small. So I've been wanting a bigger one, and this is L'Augustina. I get it at Canadian Tire here in Canada. You never pay full price for anything in that store because things always go on sale, and I've been wanting this for a while. So it finally went on sale. I think it was on for $80, and then with Canadian Tire, you get like Canadian Tire money that you accumulate. Back in the old days, like it used to be paper money, and you would save it all up. They used to say, you know, you're Canadian when you have Canadian Tire money in your drawer. Now it's all like, you know, the electronic and all of that. So I think we had like $50 accumulated, so I think out of pocket this costs like whatever, $30 plus tax. But I'm gonna use it for the soup because I think this will be really, you know, to get the spinach and then to cook the ravioli. I think I'm just waiting for a mess to happen. So I've been waiting to use this. My husband's like, did you use that Dutch oven yet? I'm like, no, I'm just waiting for it. And tonight is the night, so I'm going to get it all washed up and ready to go. I'll kind of share with you the 2 different sizes, and I think this is the perfect addition to what I need in my kitchen for whenever I make certain things, and I want to make a bigger batch and also be able to freeze it. I do have 3 cast iron enamel covered Dutch ovens. So that is the second one that I have. This was the first one. I always wanted one, and they would always go on sale. So I told my mom one year that I think it would make a really good Christmas gift. So of course she got it for me. And I've used it a lot, but I just found like the heat, I don't know, like I found because it was oval, and then like my, you know, my elements are round. Like sometimes I found like it was like hotter in the middle, like the heat didn't distribute as good as the round one, so that's why I decided to get this one. But then when I see them side by side, like this one is definitely bigger, but I'll definitely keep this one because I do find this one is really nice for roast beef, like to sear it and then do it in the oven. And it's a little bit bigger than this one, but then smaller than that one, so I just have to figure out where I'm going to put that one because it is a little bit bigger. But that is my cast iron enamel covered Dutch oven collection. So I really do like the white, and I'm glad that I was finally able to get the bigger one on sale, and then also use like those things that you know, when you buy gas, sometimes they have promotions that if you buy something you get 10 times the Canadian Tire money or points and everything. So it all like worked out, and I'm very thankful to have a new addition to my kitchen. I have the 1 carrot, the 1 onion, and then a pound of mild Italian pork sausage. I wish this was like just ground sausage, but I just got to take the casings off and then cut it up. So I'm going to get these all prepped and ready to go because I am on a little bit of a time crunch. So I want to get this all taken care of, and then I think it looks really easy and it won't take long to cook this, and then the flavor of the sausage will incorporate with the broth and then the little bit of the seasonings, and I think it's going to be really good. So I had 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of butter, and then I'm adding in the onion and carrot. I'm just going to let it cook for a little bit. That's what the recipe says. While this is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep the sausage so that way this can cook, and then I'll get that taken care of. I took the casings off the sausage and then I just cut them up so they're almost like little meatballs, and then I'm adding them in here, and then I'm going to cook this down. And now the recipe said for 1 pound of ground turkey or Italian sausage. I think the sausage is a lot more flavorful. I think the ground turkey would be a little bit bland, and the way that I looked at it was that the flavor from the sausage would kind of like incorporate in with the onions and the carrots and be kind of a nice base for the soup before we make the broth for it. So I cooked the meat until it was browned, and then I added some garlic, some salt, and some pepper, and then I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of dried basil, and then also a teaspoon of dried oregano, and then I'm just gonna cook it for a couple of minutes. And then the recipe did call for 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I didn't have that. I need to stock up on some of my tomato products, but I'm using what I have, and what that is about an 18-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes with extra garlic and onion in here. So there's a little bit of juice with the diced tomatoes, so I just cook this for a couple of minutes, and then it's getting all of the flavor from the sausage, and then adding in the 4 cups of the chicken broth. It's just a little under the 4 cups. So what I'm going to do is just bring this to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, I'm going to put the lid on and then remove it from the heat, because I got to go do pickup and all of those other things, and I think this is going to work out really well. So it's coming to a boil, there is the lid on, and then I'm going to let it sit. All of the flavors will incorporate, and here it is a couple of hours later. So our son's just having some of the leftover hamburger helper that I made in my last video, and then the soup, I'm just bringing it to a boil. So it's boiling away now, so I'm just going to go ahead and add in the ravioli. It does not take long to cook, 3 minutes, and then it also calls for 6 cups of fresh baby spinach. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in at the top here so it can wilt down a little bit, and then I'm just going to put the lid on, set the timer for 3 minutes, and then check on it. This is what it looks like after the 3 minutes, and the first time I made the ravioli, it did not take long. It says right on the package, 3 minutes, and I just wanted to make sure, yep, it was cooked, it was all plumped up, and the spinach had wilted down, so I just removed it from the heat, because that's one of the things with cast iron, it really keeps that heat on there. Like even a couple of hours later, like the Dutch oven was still warm from when I had boiled it. So I added in the 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese grated, and I should have done it after, because I was supposed to add in the cream first, and then I forgot all about it, even though it was sitting right beside there. So it did say 2 cups of 1/2 and 1/2 or heavy cream. So I went ahead and added in the 1 cup of 1/2 and 1/2. I was a little bit worried that wasn't going to be enough broth in this soup, because I really thought that the ravioli would kind of overtake it. So I decided to add another 1/2 cup. So instead of the 2 full cups, 1 1/2 cups is what I decided to go with. And I'm liking the way it looks. And I just did a really simple plating. I just put it into a nice bowl here, and then a little bit more Parmesan cheese, a little bit of black pepper, and then some garlic toast that I did in the air fryer. We really did like this. It was really good. My husband really liked the sausage, and the broth was very flavorful with the Italian sausage, and I was very happy with it. My feedback on this is I will make it again. I would use the crushed tomatoes, I think, because I think it would give it a richer broth. And I think the Italian sausage would give it a lot of flavor. Now, if you didn't use the Italian sausage, it would be more of like a tomato-based soup. And I would definitely use the heavy cream, not the 2 cups. I think less would be more. I think starting off with half a cup and then going up maybe a quarter of a cup at a time to see what, the right consistency would be. I think it would give it a nice, rich, flavorful broth. But I love the way that I was able to make this earlier in the afternoon and then, have it all come together at dinner time. It was really good. Husband liked it. And I think that Dutch oven was the perfect addition to my kitchen. It was a nice big size. It wasn't too crowded and I was very happy with it. So it was a really great day. I knew that I was taking some time off for some birthday celebrations and then, life and everything happened, but back on track with everything. So I will be posting more regularly, a lot more recipes I will be sharing with all of you. But it's that time of the night. Tonight's a good night. I'm lighting up my haunted house. There's something about that comfort of this one thing that I do year after year. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon.